Good evening, friends. By the time some of other attendees, my audience, join, let me set the stage for today's discussion. Ray Talks, Next Generation Agriculture, hear from the leaders. Leaders are who's who in their field of the tissue culture. Tissue culture, its contribution for better agriculture is our discussion point today. Tissue culture is a very common phenomena, but most of us, we don't know much about the practice of tissue culture or the formalities of tissue culture, or there are two ways to use in like any subject, two sides of the same coin. One is the user, the other one is the producer. A farmer, a corporate who wants to use tissue culture for their agriculture, they want to know more about it. There you can contribute. The other side, there are entrepreneurs, corporates, both small and large, who wants to get into tissue culture. So they want to understand, how do I start this business? For that, you would be answering their questions. So friends, the past decades of plant cell biotechnology has evolved as a new era in the field of biotechnology, focusing on the production of a large number of secondary plant products. Development of tissue culture techniques has provided the tools for the introduction of genetic information into plant cells by using the tissue culture process. A plant's yield can be increased dramatically, also be genetically altered so that it becomes immune to certain diseases and viruses with tissue culture. Friends, I welcome my today's panelists, outstanding panelists. The first of all, there are each one of them equally good enough. My race speaker, Dr. Shivkant Shuklaji, Deputy General Manager at Biotech Consortium, India. Dr. Shukla, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. And my next speaker, race speaker, Dr. N. Bharati, a doyen in his own sense, highly acclaimed, very, very respected, is the director at Growmore Biotech, one of the oldest firms in the country. And then my own very good friend, Veera Reddy. Sorry, I cannot use Veera Reddy, Mr. or Doctor to you. You are my friend, my classmate. We studied together. So he is one of those first guys in the country who spotted the importance of tissue culture and established tissue culture laboratory way back almost 3.5 decades ago. So with this, huge panel, when I say huge, outstanding panel, I'm sure we are going to have a very outstanding discussion today for the benefit of the stakeholders. Friends, before I introduce my panelists in an elaborate way, let me take you through, as usual, a customary introduction of Ray Consulting. Ray Consulting was founded by me, that is Raj, after a long 25 years stint in the agri sector, having worked with companies like Rallis India, Cheminova, PI Industries, and Nagarjuna Fertilizers. I felt there was a space for agri consulting in India, and we could do with an integrated platform in the agri domain. We bring substantial experience to the diversified agriculture sector by advising leading players across in India and Southeast Asia on a range of strategic, commercial, and operational issues. We understand the unique dynamics and economics of agricultural value chain, the critical issues and challenges seeking to grow and elevate performance. We work with all segments of agri-value chain. Our deep agribusiness sector expertise and growth strategy development capabilities enable us to deliver uniquely rich insights that lead to meaningful impact to our clients on growth strategy, M&A, go-to-market commercial strategy for the business performance improvement. So that's how Ray Consulting delivers. We currently work in India and Southeast Asia for their clients. Please feel free in case you want to take business to the next level where Ray Consulting will get involved in developing your mission, vision, and strategic business models. Friends, now it's time for me to introduce our panelists. Dr. Shivkant Shukla, Directorate in Biotechnology from Pandit Ravi Shankar doctorate in biotechnology from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur, has made significant contribution in the area of biotechnology and commercial plant tissue culture. Dr. Shukla is currently working as the General Manager, BCIL New Delhi, an organization promoted by Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. Dr. Shukla has 20 years of diversified experience covering research, production of tissue culture plants, field extension, quality management, biotech parks, technology transfer, administration, and management of biotech projects. Dr. Shukla is managing prestigious international and national long-term projects of Government of India. Dr. Shukla is also working with many state governments for setting up of biotechnology parks and incubators for promoting startup in biotechnology. Dr. Shukla's contribution has been acknowledged by various recognitions and awards. So Dr. Shukla, I welcome you once again. And
Thank you. Good evening to everyone.
yes, I beg pardon to my panelists. I cannot hand over a bouquet or a garland to you because we are having a virtual meeting, but I'm sure let's all pray as soon as this virtual meetings era is over, when we start meeting together, we once again will meet in physical form in a probably another conference or seminar. Now, let me introduce Dr. Bharati. Dr. Bharati is the director at Gromor Biotech Limited. Dr. N. Bharati is an agricultural scientist from TNAU, Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. He has served in the university as an assistant professor and moved on to tissue culture and established 7 commercial tissue culture labs, not a small number. Dr. Bharati promoted Gromor Biotech Limited for the production of different species of plants by tissue culture process, ranging from plantation crops, agricultural crops, horticultural crops, herbal crops, spices, tree crops. That's amazing. You literally covered entire agriculture, Dr. Bharati. And Gromor Biotech has been exporting plants, tissue culture plants, to different countries for the past 25 years, such as USA, Germany, Holland, Japan, Australia, and many countries in Africa, Asia, and South America. Friends, that shows the potential of tissue culture from India, not just for India, from India to the rest of the world. And Dr. Bharti served as Planning Commission member in the subcommittee on high-tech horticulture and later for renewable energy. Currently, he is the director at Gromor Biotech, producing over 10 million plants per year. Dr. Bharti, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the good introduction.
Yeah, my honor. Now, coming to my friend, Veera Reddy, Poonam Veera Reddy. Veera Reddy is founder and managing director of Ag Biotech. He has over 30 years of experience in plant biotechnology, plant tissue culture, biomanure, organic inputs, botanical fertilizers, and commercial forestry. He has guided over 500 such projects in horticulture and tissue culture for MSc students. He has been instrumental in commercializing plant tissue culture techniques in India for horticulture and forestry plants. And he has developed environment-friendly and cost-effective plant tissue culture for the benefit of agriculture. Friends, with that introduction, I am honored to talk to you. When I say talk to you, not just my panelists, but my audience. Whopping number, outstanding number today. In spite of being a long weekend, I was a little worried because 4 days holiday, second, third, fourth. Then I said, "Log pata nahi aayenge, nahi aayenge." Lekin subject is so interesting. Speakers are so awesome. Friends, audience, without you, this show would have not been possible. Last 4 months, Saturday after Saturday, all of you joined to listen to these stalwarts and take back something interesting. And to honor that, I ensure that you know, I will invite you to speak to the panelists at the end of our conversation. I know most of your questions would be answered when I talk to these stalwarts. So without wasting time, let me start putting questions to one by one of my panelists, and I'm sure they will add to your rich knowledge further. So let me start. If you're all ready, Dr. Bharti, Dr. Shukla, and Veera Reddy,
We can
if you allow
start.
me to speak to you.
Great.
Yeah, right. Yes, and yes. So Let me start with Dr. Shukla. Shukla Saab, what is the status of commercialization of plant tissue culture in India? How it's impacting the agriculture and rural agro economy?
Yeah, thank you. This is very important question, and this will become base for our further discussion.
Yes.
The opening thing. But at the outset, my warm greetings to everyone from the audience. My co-panelists, Dr. Bharti, Dr. Poonam Veera Reddy. Thanks to Ray Consulting for organizing this important webinar, very important topic, which is very close to my heart, being a tissue culture professional and having associated this field for last 20 years. And my big salute to friends from plant tissue culture industry who have been working with great zeal during this tough time and made effort to produce quality plants in spite of lot of hurdle due to lockdown, due to corona pandemic, and which I have been personally witnessing nowadays through my virtual site visits. Nowadays, I am visiting all the companies virtually, so I can see their pain, how much they are taking difficulty, and how they are doing good work. Now, coming to the commercialization part, as you know, inception of plant tissue culture technology is almost 120 years old with the work of totipotency of the plant cell. But in real sense, commercialization started globally 50 years before. And in India, you can say approximate 33, 35 years before. And we have completed journey from 5 million plants to 500 million plantlets as a capacity of the industry. And also, you would be happy to note that India is the leading country in the area of plant tissue culture. Other countries you name, some country like Holland, they are technically little there in age, but the other country like Holland, China, Israel, Thailand, they are the other leading player. But in terms of the capacity, India has the huge capacity. Now, this sector is one of the fastest growing sector. It is growing at the rate of 15%. And if you can say crop which are being produced through tissue culture, that is banana, sugarcane, potato, orchid, date palm, pomegranate, strawberry, many more. So, big list. But out of that, though other crop are going significantly, like bamboo, other crop, banana has occupied significant place. 70% it is banana. Last year, we have published a success story on banana tissue culture that is freely available in the APARI website. It's a public domain. One can go through and see the impact, how this has created impact. In terms of the steps establishment, this sector has valued approximate 1,000 crore. And there are 200 companies in India, small and big one. As I told, total capacity of 500 million plantlets. And altogether, we are producing around 350 to 400 million plantlets per year. Now, demand is increasing because of the increasing awareness and increasing global demand. One thing I want to highlight, with this growth factor, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India has played a very key role for promoting this technology. In last 30 years, DBT has funded numerous R&D projects, established micro propagation technology park, and now National Certification System for Tissue Culture Plant, NCS-TCP, for which I have been associated since its beginning from the Biotech Consortium as a National Certification System Management Cell. So if you can say the industry size, the type of company engaged in the tissue culture, you can categorize in up to 1 million capacity, 1 to 3 million, 3 to 10 million, and more than 10 million. But about 10 million capacity, there is only limited company, particularly in Maharashtra. But capacity ranging from 1 to 3 million, the number of company, more than 70 companies So this 1 to 3 million capacity per annum has become kind of successful business model for the first generation entrepreneur, a startup company. So this is the industry range. Now, what I would like to say, in last 3.5 decade, this industry has matured as a organized sector with the increased awareness among the consumer, particularly regarding the quality planting material. And the quality will trigger a further growth of this industry exponentially. Now, coming to the second part of your question regarding the impact, this technology has already made significant impact on the agriculture, horticulture, forestry. You can say teaks are, bamboo are being multiplied, banana, pomegranates are being multiplied. So, second thing, it is also playing key role in job creation. If you say small laboratory, they are offering job to 100%. There are 200 companies, it's more than 50,000 people they are directly employed, and the lakhs of people they are getting indirect employment. One thing is very noteworthy to say, this has become good tool for the women empowerment. If you say any commercial lab, 60-70% workforce is the women. They are working inside the laboratory, they are doing inoculation, they are getting a great sense of satisfaction while working in the laboratory. Now, to conclude, as you know, the current government, which is emphasizing the doubling the farmers' income by various measures, now tissue culture has the potential to increase the farmers' income manifold. Just quote the example of banana. If you are growing banana plant in 1 acre, planting 1,500 plants, the net gain is many farmers are reporting 2 to 3 lakhs, which is 3 to 4 times as compared to the conservative conventional planning, that is suckers. Now, to conclude, what I feel, this technology has been well accepted, commercialized significantly, and contributed a lot. It has immense potential to transform the rural economy wherever commercial facilities working.
You have taken through an extremely good introduction, set the pace for today's dialogue discussions, and you covered almost all the aspects where the tissue culture can be looking into, from the farmers aspect, from the entrepreneurship aspect, employability aspect, and doubling the farmers' income. And something, when I say doubling the farmers' income, I would look into the quantity and quality aspect, both of it. I think tissue culture is one of the extremely good tools to do that, including, both biotic and abiotic factors, resistance, stuff like that. So, post your thing, Dr. Shukla, thanks for that first questions answer. I'll come back to you again. Dr. Bharti, I come to you now. Being an extremely successful businessman in this trade, my question to you is, we always hear that India is grain sufficient. I won't say food sufficient, grain sufficient because of the green revolution. Now, tissue culture, incidentally, is very predominantly practiced in non-grain crops. Correct me if I'm wrong. Fruits and vegetables, forestry, agroforestry, pomology. So, can tissue culture lead to a green revolution? Especially with this, when Dr. Shukla used the word doubling a farmer's income. Now, government of various states are emphasizing go for the value-added crops where domestic consumption can be increased, and then it will also be useful for the exports. So farmer earns, the country earns. So my question to you, I'll repeat the question: can tissue culture lead for a second green revolution?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Raj. Great. My greetings to all my panelists, Dr. Shiv, Dr. Veera Reddy, and all the audience who are all there now. Good evening to all of you. Tissue culture is such a passionate subject to me. I started the way back year 2000, 1990, 86 onwards I started for a commercial work. Research I started in 81, then there is no word called biotechnology was there. I happened to land in biotissue culture. I was doing a lot of haploid breeding work and using this tissue culture tool as a methodology. I was doing my PhD from agriculture, and nobody thought, it can do a great thing in the country. And you asked me the right question of asking me, like, can these bring a second green revolution in India or the world? Very much right. You also said grains made the revolution in 1940s and 1970s. We not even doubled, we went up to 5 times in the production of grains, the rice, in the wheat. Yes, we did it. And the same thing we also repeated in oil seeds, though it was not comparable to the cereals. The limitation was there in the yield increasing. And vegetable, we could go, fruits and vegetable, we could go only 2 to 3 times. Look at, there is a variation in the grains. It was very high. Naman Bodla could really do. Yamas Swaminathan was great in bringing the revolutions, everything. But then it never passed on to other crops, other field crops. Of course, biotechnology can really fill the gap to bring the second green revolution. As Dr. Shukla said, it can double, triple the farmer's income. And this is what has happened in banana. When I started banana in 1986, I was trying to sell few hundred plants in an exhibition. We could not do that. 4 rupees a plant. We couldn't sell it. And Veera Reddy joined me at that time, and then we all worked together, but we couldn't sell it. But today we have several thousands of labs doing wonderful production of banana and made it a commercial crop and increase the money from those days from 30,000-40,000 rupees profit per acre to a level of 3 lakh rupees now. But Dr. Shukla also now confirmed the beginning itself that it has happened. That's true. How is such a big jump has happened? It's 4 times is gone. That is only because of tissue culture. The increase was there. The number one is the quality material, a genetic material. When you look at the green revolution, the revolution was due to genetic improvement of the planting material, where I did my PhD in plant breeding and genetics. And then later on, it was also more into agronomy, agricultural practices, precision farming, providing the nutrient at the right time, with the irrigation system, everything, and the spacing and all that. But now if you look at tissue culture can do a wonderful job in the genetic material, making those material not available to the public, to the farmers, in a larger quantity in a shortest time possible. In fact, that was my PhD thesis way back in 1981. To reduce the breeding cycle. When you start a breeding work in a rice breeding work, you take around 9 to 10 years to get a variety. You make a Yafun hybrid, then you take a Yaf2 segregation, you keep on analyzing it, and then you come out with a segregant, then you try to fix it up by biopsy. But haploid production of plants can bring the plant in the third cycle itself, which means within a year, you will be able to get a homogeneous population, homozygous population. Both you can be able to get it and make the variety immediately. But then that was my PhD. But then I could see the tissue culture cloning of plant, photocopying of the plant had a lot of lacuna, and that was trying to fill up by tissue culture. Today, what is happening is we all sincerely Xeroxing the plant. We take the best genetic material, we photocopy it. We have been doing it with banana. We did it with the Robusta banana to start with. Then, fortunately, the G9 came into this. G9, which is genetic material, was superior, and the tissue culture was able to add the benefit to that. Then went on to William. Then there's so many bananas came. Now, this technology I have been applying, as you said, in 85 different species I applied, including medicinal plant. Medicinal plant, you take Gymnema sylvestre for sugar-killing plant. The gymnemic acid is only around 1.5–2% on average. When I was researching with the plant population, I could get 7%, which means 3 times more yield from the same yield, you're able to get active ingredient. As I was doing it, there is a PhD student in the TNAU found a 12% gymnemic acid plant. All plants look alike. No difference at all. When they go for extraction, this tissue culture plant is able to multiply this 14% material into a larger quantity, and it is made available. Like this, it was done in turmeric. It was repeated in many plant like this medicinal plant. But then what happened? The collection of plants was so easy. They were not able to really compete with the cultivated herbal plant. So the tissue culture not really taken up. I tried my best. I worked on stevia for 10, 15 years. But bamboo, so sorry, that biotech can bring in a real increase in yield, which is one part of the green revolution. For example, I've been working in the bamboo for a very long time. I've been worked after 80 different species. I touched this because I saw not green revolution. It could be much more higher than that. The national average yield of bamboo today is 0.4 tons per acre per year. That's what the national average yield of bamboo. Now, when somebody cultivates the bamboo, they are able to see a yield of 4 tons per acre. But a tissue culture bamboo is able to make 40 tons per acre per year. No connection at all. And everybody would ask, what is going to happen? Can we eat bamboo? Can we do anything with that? It's only for ladders being made, is what used for. But over a period of time, what happens? This has become industrialized. That product have been started using for industrialization. Yes, green revolution can become second green revolution only when you start looking at agriculture as an industrial commodity, to take it up and give us a product for making ketchup, or to make a product for exports, or to make product for industrial application like fuel. We worked on Jethro, we all worked on Jethro for a long time, but then we couldn't succeed. The reason is the genetic material was not able to perform to that level of economy. So bamboo today converted into electricity. 1 acre of bamboo produces 40,000 units of electricity. Then it's become a commercial crop. Today it is converted into 10,000 liter ethanol per acre. Yes, it's because tissue culture cloned a particular clone of bamboo, and that has been made available to the plantation. It grows 1.5 feet a day, 10,000 liter ethanol per acre. Sugarcane is giving only 450 liter per acre per year. That's what our commercial crop. Our cash crop today is sugarcane. Sugarcane is giving a cash crop of 35,000 rupees profit to the farmer. Now, the same bamboo today, we are working with a Shell, they are able to convert into petrol and diesel. Today, they made a cracking technology to produce jet fuel out of the bamboo. They had a technology to do this, but they never had a biomass to do this. Today, tissue culture of bamboo is able to provide that. This is, I can repeat like this, it's all the biotech tool is going to really help in bringing the second revolution, either simply multiplying what is available. But the same tool can very effectively be used for tomorrow if you're able to do genetic engineering of the plant, and then if it is after the approval, if you have few plants, to make them into millions of plants, you need this tool very much. You can do that. And same tissue culture also is going to bring in increase in of the secondary metabolites. You don't need to really grow the plants in a very large scale field. You can really grow them in a laboratory and you can just produce it. Today, people are working in stem cells. I'm also working in stem cells. Stem cells from plant for cosmetics. We spend a lot of money. And biotechnology can do that. See, that's the beauty of biotechnology. Biotechnology can really expand, not only from tissue culture multiplication of plant, multiplying the genetic engineered plant, it can also go into stem cells to make novel product, which is not available in a sufficient quantity, and their returns are very, very high. So biotech, tissue culture is one of the best tools available for all of us to increase the income to the farmer, as well as to make the plant available as free from diseases, bacterial disease free, virus disease free. Dr. Shukla is heading an organization where they have strict control on plants produced through tissue culture, all 100% virus free. Yeah. And it's all tested and released. Today, 79 laboratories working in India because of them. When we started, we never realized that why we are all doing genetic, this virus-free nature of the plant. Today, all the plants are tested batch-wise. 10,000 plants are tested, 1,000 plant batches tested, and they are being provided certificate, so the farmers are able to get a guaranteed plant out of this. It's not the pedigree dogs are available, pedigree plants available. And that's what the tissue culture has done it, thanks to BCIL, where I was also one of the consulting member way back in 95 to 97. I was also part of them. Thank you.
I mean, so passionate, doctor. I mean, I heard Dr. Shukla and you both. I mean, it's not that we're. I mean, I feel not talking about tissue culture. You're all so involved, passionate about the subject, and you're talking. I mean, talking in the sense you're talking about stem cells from the tissue culture from the plants. That's outstanding. So. Extremely good information. Veera Reddy, let me come to a very specific thing. Maybe you can choose one or two crops where you feel quantitative yield improvement in these crops. For example, of course, Dr. Bharti mentioned, how it exploded in terms of quantities in bamboos and crops like that, sugar cane. So maybe you can take one or two examples and say how using tissue culture plant, at the end of the day, when it comes to farmer, he will simply say, okay, if I use a seed, if I'm spending, say 50 paisa, I'm buying a tissue culture plant, I'm spending 10 rupees. So how is the ROI in terms of using a tissue culture by a farmer? What is the quantitative increase in the yield? Veera Reddy, over to you.
Yeah, namaskar to everybody, especially my role model, Dr. Bharti, and when we're working with the BCR, with the Dr. Shukla and the Dr. Sharma and all those things. When we started tissue culture, we used to sell very small quantities, the small tiny lots. Even my own professor, who taught us the tissue culture potential, when I showed that is a tissue culture plant, they said, what we are doing, this much of sucker will give only 10 to 12 kg a bunch. What a small tissue culture will give it. So we had to convince initially the professors, academicians, bureaucrats, extension officers, scientists, and farmers, progressive farmers, so many people, we involve them to make this technology from laboratory to the field level. For example, when we talk about the quantitative or qualitative side, we take only example initially when we started with the ABP and cardamom. Cardamom is the first crop which has commercially produced a tissue culture in India. Because cardamom is very low yield, it is only plantation companies bother, not the small farmers and marginal farmers. At that time, the company like ABP and Dr. Bharti and the Jiten Prakash Kumar, they started selecting the allied plants, develop the protocol, produce the plants. They were able to from 68 kg to 200 kg per hectare. Cardamom is a perennial crop. Once you plant it, you can harvest it. Like a size of 1,000 acres, 100 acres plantation, from 60 10 kg to 200 kg, consider what yield difference. Then later, this was shifted to another commercial or most important nutrition crop is banana. Because when we started, most of the tissue culture labs, we concentrated on exporting of the foliage and flowering plants. Because my special is orchids, anthurium, gerbera, some polyester. Then we shifted for the Indian context, not like European. Then we started doing the domestic crop, what is the banana. Banana is a domestic crop, which can be used to the farmers as well as the consumers. Because banana is a pure man fruit, which is sterile naturally. You take any fruit, it has to be washed, cut on it, but that's a banana. From a sick person to healthy person can eat anywhere on the streets, in the house, hotels, restaurants, banana.
Veera Reddy, sorry to interrupt you. There is a feedback that your voice is not clear, even I'm feeling that. Can you hold this thing closer to your mouth, your speaker? Mic.
Mic is open only.
Yeah, just put closer to your mouth. Hold it like this. No. See,
Okay.
there is a mic in your cord on your earphone. So just hold it closer to your thing. Otherwise, okay, you can continue. No, you can you can continue.
Hello.
Yeah, you can continue, please.
Yeah. Like that, we use the banana. Okay?
Yeah, you please go ahead.
Yeah. The banana, when we surveyed, when I was ABP and Dr. Bharti and myself, Dr. Narayan, we surveyed all India, all the banana, all the yield, what are the varieties in India, which has to be implemented. We done all the fruit crops, but we selected the banana. Banana has done the average yield, the best farmers to get to 10 to 12 tons per acre in a period of 12 to 15 months. That is a staggering harvesting. Then we started selecting the Indian varieties which they bought Cavendish, Robusta, some local varieties like Amurtapani, Chakrakeli and all. We started implementing, using, taking to the farmers, Indian institutes and all those things. We started. Now today, after getting the Grand 9 and Robusta and Williams, we used to get average 40 tons per acre in 9 to 11 months. Like in India, like we introduced many banana clones almost all the world, from India or outside India to Indian community also. Today we are producing average farmer which is illiterate, we don't know anything much about the banana tissue culture, he is producing 40 tons. They are selling 10 rupees, 20 rupees, there's a marketing with the other people, but average a farmer is getting 3 lakhs average income. And second thing, when the tissue culture introduced, we are into the area in production. Because certain areas are only banana, like Telangana in Andhra Pradesh, or Padipatri in Andhra Pradesh.
Vidareddy, sorry to, I think you need to remove your earphone. Just use the laptop audio or something, please. No, no, what I said is you just use your laptop, you just
Without
disconnect
headphones.
without headphones.
No,
No,
this
take
is
it out.
the-
No,
the
you
system
take
is
it.
not-
The speaker is not active. You try without the headphones. You just keep the headphones aside and take out the jack from your laptop and start talking, speaking.
Okay.
There is a continuous feedback coming that nothing is audible.
I'll put one more thing.
Yeah, please.
One more.
Just hold on, friends. He's just trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, you start speaking, then we'll come to you. Go ahead. No, we can't hear you anything. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you can't hear if you can't put on the earphones.
Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Hello.
No, please speak. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Some-
You can't hear us. Or shall I come back to you a little later once you check your settings?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, no, okay.
Yes, please speak.
Now, we are working on mainly for banana, sir. Later, banana is a successful story. It goes to BCL, Dr. Shukla and Sharma and other things. And all the industry also. We work a lot, quality, how to bring the quality, when to cultivate. Then farmers, we are not stopped at the myself and Dr. Bharat, we are not started at the lab level. When to the farmer feel up to them, how to cultivate, how to improve, how to give the nutrients, everything works out. There's a success story in Indian tissue culture. Then after that, we are also looking for some alternate crops. Almost all the India, out of 200 labs, 160 labs will do the banana. Then we work on alternate like a scarica fig, then papaya, then dragon fruit, strawberry. Because of the tissue culture technology today, the Indian farmers are doing the strawberry in India. Previously, we have to import the strawberry fruits and eat it. The small plantations in Europe is being Ooty. But today, strawberry is a common fruit only because of the technology. Then coming to the dragon fruit also we brought it, we introduced the Indian farming, now it is picking up. Because of tissue culture, one is the quality, second is the introduction of the new varieties from the other countries. Dragon fruit is not our crop, then strawberry is not our crop. Today, blueberry, blackberry, all these fruits are now available to the Indian farming community. A quality plant for the tissue culture. These are giving the yields exceptional. For example, cardamom seed. Now coming to the Bhati said the bamboo. Then I am also working on teak for last 15 years. and sandalwood and all those things, and some endangered species. Teak, we are able to harvest in 9 to 10 years with 20 CFT, that is a cubic feet saleable logs. Otherwise, it will take 30 to 40 years in natural way. And all the plants, if you plant in 1 lakh or 300 plants per acre, you are in the same quality. You can see the yield ratio. But 20 CFT is not joke. In the forest, they will take 40 to 50 years to get 20 CFT. And quality, 90% output formation. Then coming to sandalwood. Today we developed sandalwood technology from allied, because we are not producing the hybrid in sandalwood. Whatever allied plant matter is available in the field with the forest department or national institutes, they are selecting the tissues and multiplying, giving to the farmers. That's what we're doing in the teak also. Like so many crops in medicinal plants, we are producing some crops like Hazel marmalade, which is a rare plant we are producing, Vitex nirgundi producing. Then today, one old man, which is 120 years old man, came to me, Reddy Baba, I want this red aloe vera, can you do it? So we are producing aloe vera, make available to the industry as well as the farmers, the quality plant material at affordable price. You know, sometimes red aloe vera costing me almost 30,000 to 1 lakh rupees per plant. We brought it to 100 rupees and give it to them. Same way today, that they, like Dr. Bharti told, like curcumin content in turmeric. There are so many varieties like medicinal plants. Like lead and turmeric, we got 11 to 12%. Same way, we got one turmeric called black turmeric, we call, that is the curcuma cashew. We developed the protocol producing lakhs of plants to make a 27% of curcumin content. Does the industry want it? So these plants, when farmers are growing in their fields, when they are making the quality plant material to the farming community, this is coming to industry. That's why tissue culture directly improving the quality and quantity of the yield and giving to the farmer's field. That's why tissue culture, no doubt, is a proven technology for Indian context, Indian agriculture, to improve the quantity and the quality, which in turn help in going to the industry. That's what we are saying, sugarcane, bamboo, then now medicinal plants.
Okay. I think, yeah, that gives quite a lot of wider picture on various crops, right? From our own indigenous Indian plants to crops which are not indigenous to India, like dragon fruits. Dr. Shukla, I come to you because, you know, you hold a huge responsibility, I would say, to ensuring what we call a quality of tissue culture to the Indian farmers. So my question to you is, what or how does quality management or certification program play an important role or critical role in promoting the tissue culture sector and supporting farmers? See, what happens is, we all know, I mean, not to say anything, most of the things when we go and try to take things from the various companies or individuals who claim that, you know, mine is the best tissue culture plant, and each one of them claim that this has got XYZ specifications or characters in the plant. So how does BCIL ensure the certification to these growers so that farmer benefits?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Raj. It was a good experience to hear Dr. Bharti and Dr. Reddy. Also, I was enjoying chat box.
Yes.
More than 180 participants, and they are putting some key questions. I responded to many. As you say, improving quality of planting material means improving the farm productivity. It's just like in computer, garbage in, garbage out. If you are putting a right thing will come out. And if quality is there, other than farm productivity, overall, it will ensure the sustainability of the tissue culture operation, because this will ensure repeated demand for the particular organization if quality is good. So it is for the farmer, this is for the company. Dr. Bharti and Mr. Reddy, they are well aware that in early mid-90s, there was many incidents of virus outbreak.
Yes, true.
Particularly in Maharashtra and Andhra region. So that's why it was adversely affecting the industry. And also it was affecting the tissue culture technology. because it was getting a very bad name that it is creating this viral trouble. Now, because of this thing, Government of India plan to support this sector. Now, when you say quality, quality has different definition. It will depend on the perception of the consumer. What is quality? If someone is getting good flour as a Bengali community and they're making some good dish, they'll say, oh, good quality of flour, banana. But when we say quality in tissue culture, two aspects are very critical. One, it should be free from all the reported virus. I'm saying reported virus. If banana has 4 viruses, it should be free from all the 4 viruses. If bamboo has 1 virus, bamboo mosaic virus, it should be free from that only 1 virus. So one is freedom from viruses, and the second is it should be uniform. Because as a farmer, if I am investing a more money for the tissue culture plant as compared to conventional material, I should get better yield, and I should plan my cropping pattern. Because certain farmer they have big calculation. Okay, in the month of October, I'll get better price. I will plant my material. I will plan my planting season at this month. Though it will be little less yield, but price will be higher. But if uniformity is missing, then their planning is gone. So that's why when we say quality in tissue culture, and when I am doing certification program, we have two components. One is virus, and the second is genetic fidelity or true to typeness. Now, as you say, every coin has two sides. Tissue culture has the benefit of mass multiplication. You select one plant, as Dr. Bharti told you, can make Xerox copy. So similarly, if you selected the wrong material by mistake, inadvertently, and you keep on multiplying that, so not only you are going to provide the virus infected material, but also at the same time, that area will be with the virus. So with this severity, Government of India decided to launch certain program, which is called as a National Certification System for Tissue Culture Plant. All industry friends, they know very well, NCS TCP. So to support the industry, to support the farmer, it was started in 2006 to support all industry, to provide, to facilitate production and distribution of quality planting material. Now, just 2-3 things I want to highlight. That standard operating procedure is it becomes very critical while operating a facility. For anything, it is a critical, but for operating a facility, it is very important to have a right plant, free from all the viruses, use all the standards protocol, and multiply as per the guideline, and provide farmers with the proper package of practices. Because if someone will think I have tissue culture plant, I am getting miracle plant, that is not going to be there. Once plants is there in the field, they have to follow the proper package of practices. Then only it will perform in the field. If this will not perform, then again technology will get bad name. Company will lose the customer. So the entire chain is very important, from selecting the mother plant up to the providing plant to the farmers with right package of practices. So this all defines quality. Now, as other than SOP, standard operating procedure, what I would like to say, the tissue culture standards, normally company, they miss that part. The tissue culture standards are very critical, which maximizes the yield and minimizes the loss. And the 8 standards are already available in the public domain, which is approved by Central Seed Certification Board. And that are banana, sugarcane, potato, bamboo, vanilla, citrus, and strawberry. And depending on the commercialization, again, the 4 crops are being included now. It is in the process of approval. That 4 crop, date palm, pomegranate, pineapple, and teak. So this 4 crop will be included. So total there will be 9 crop. Now all industry friend, Dr. Bharti, Dr. Reddy, and all industry friend who join this program, they know very well, whenever committee visits that site, it is not like a policing and some kind of leg pulling or auditing, typical audit. No, it's a friendly exercise, transparent exercise in front of the company telling their shortcomings and giving time to improve those things with certain timelines so that they will come up. As a Dr. Shukla, a program coordinator from BCIL, I want to give the message to company. We want to recognize maximum number of companies. We want the companies should come at that platform to produce the good quality planting material. Like when Dr. Bharti got recognition, then he gave the plan to the nearest testing laboratory that I want to certify my entire produce of bamboo for the virus. And now he is getting label and is providing the certified material. And one virus is there, bamboo mosaic virus. And what he was claiming, this much yield. This is only feasible when it will be virus infected. Now, what message I want to give to the audience, as a consumer now, they have started demanding for the certified material. And as a client of the foreign collaborator, now they're asking whether they do have DBT recognition or not. And now one good development, I want to inform the audience that label we are providing. This label, if audience can see, this label we are providing. And now BCL took this to provide label to the company on time.
Can you put a little closer to the camera?
Yeah,
Dr.
this
Shukla?
one. So this has become, you can see the hologram in between, and this has become the quality mark for viscose industry. And I'm glad to inform you, sir, no country has this kind of system in place. And that's why India has become number one in tissue culture and number one in banana cultivation. India is the leader in banana cultivation and also total capacity in the installed capacity. Now you see this barcode. I am working on this barcode, and this is software has been developed, and this is under the security audit with the NIC. Very soon we are going to give the QR code. And as a QR code, once farmers will get their planting material, they can just their cell phone. With the cell phone, what they will do, they will scan it with their QR code reader, and they will get complete detail with my name also, with the contact detail and name of the company person who is providing form. For any technical difficulty, that client, consumer as a farmer, he can contact to the company person. Okay, I'm not getting this much height. Some problem is there. Can you help me like that? So it is kind of connecting the entire stakeholder to bring the quality so that our industry will go at par with the global standard. We should become leader in the plant tissue culture, because what capacity we have, 500 million. I says that each district should have good lab, and we have more than 600 districts, so we have more than 500 laboratory, and we should have capacity at least 1500 million. And the companies that are struggling in many technological aspects, I know that some logistic problem, some technical problem, some chemical problem, lots of problem will be there. Problem will remain always. Nobody could imagine that Corona will come. So problem will come always. If not there, then it will be created. So our job is to solve that problem and to bring our industry at that level to meet the quality and global standard. So definitely with the help of company, they are the major stakeholder. Those who are producing millions of plants, they are the major stakeholder. And they will put their effort to give the quality planting material to the farmers. And now this is the time to create awareness among the consumer, so that they can differentiate the quality planting material. The company which is producing good plant with the label, they should go to that company, not to the other company which is producing plant in some non-standard condition. So this will give the major boost to the industry. So the other company, they will be pressurized and motivated to come under the certification program, so that ultimate beneficiary will be the consumer. So this is my take. And thank you, Mr. Raj. This is now over, up to you. I'll come again. With the
Good.
next.
See, the bharosa, the quality is through the certification, and the certification issued authorities. I was kind of caught when you said, when you scan, it is not just the certifying agency's name appears, but you also mentioned that my name appears. That means you are giving a personal assurance kind of a situation there. Is that so?
No, I am passionate about this technology, because this technology has the potential. This technology has the potential to change the thing.
Great.
And now this one thing I did not say, we are also implementing this grievance redressal system, so that if any component has some grievances, they can come to the appellate authority. Even farmer, if they have grievances, they can come to the company, then the testing laboratory, then to DBT, then separate committee can scrutinize the thing. So this entire chain will be, we are trying to work out all the things so that complete package should be there, not like just putting a thappa and giving it to, okay, go ahead, certified. This will not work.
Great.
Ultimately, you have to take the responsibility.
Yes, thanks, Dr. Shukla. That's nice. Now, coming back to Dr. Bharti. Dr. Bharti, I also was trying to understand, as I also mentioned a little earlier, there is a cost to buy tissue culture plant. That's the first kind of people have. I don't know if it is a hurdle or aversion. We are a little reluctant to pay for something. You also seen in the chat box and Q&A, the prices, like someone mentioned about date palm, something 2,500, 3,500 rupees per plant cost. So my question to you, or please elaborate on, is in case if it is a higher cost. I know there is a technology involved, there is a research involved, there is a facility involved, there is a certification agency, certification involved. Everything has to have a cost, and nothing comes without efforts and cost. But if I have to speak from farmer's point of view, is the higher cost of tissue culture plant justified to the farmer? Is it possible in any way to reduce the cost of tissue culture plants if it is really high? Over to you, Dr. Bharti. Dr. Bharti? Hello?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah, could you get my question?
Yes, I got the question completely. Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. As I said, I've been working in the industry for such a long time. I've seen price of plant. I myself sold plant for 2 rupees a plant, tissue culture plant. In sugar cane, we sold it for 2 rupees. And for sugar cane, then we sold 2.5 rupees for a patchouli plant. But then there are plants which are going up to even 10,000 rupees. Come to 2,000 to 3,000 rupees, 3,500 rupees. Yes, the prices variation is there drastically. But that's true for anything. You take a watch, your watch is varying so much. So it's all showing the same clock time. There is no watch is different in time. You have 30 rupees a watch in the platform going up to 1 crore rupee a watch. They all affect the result is same, yes, but the quality is different, the manufacturer is different, the brand is different. Here also this happens, but let me come back to the reality. Now, what happens when somebody, Veera Reddy said, a red aloe vera, when they do it first time, he has to load his cost for the first 1 or 2 years, all his breeding work, the standardization of technology cost has to be loaded to the product. The initial product cost is going to be higher than the normal cost. Since I worked in the tissue culture and especially in the engineering side of it, and I developed a new technology in tissue culture, which is nowhere in the world is also done. I think Dr. Shukla knows. We worked on engineering aspect of the technology to reduce the people to work in a line function instead of having separate laminar flow chambers, working for last 25 years without any problem. And no tube light, no electricity, only sunlight. I'm working for 25 years. Over the world is, all the laboratories are working only with the tube light and electricity cost is very high. They all do that, yes. And I've been innovating for the last 35 years, innovations after innovations. I was the first person to introduce bottle into the whole industry in India. I graduated with a test tube. Veera Reddy is with me now. We all tried so many bottles. Bottle used to crack in the autoclave. And we went on searching for the bottles. Caps, no cap was available. And I developed the forceps hand holder to increase the production. For information, when I started my PhD, I used to do 200 plants in a day. I used to do it in 1983. 200 plants. I'm the best among the college. Everybody else used to do only 800 plants a day. Then when I went to UK in 1985 for a training, I saw people doing 800 plants. I said, PhD, nothing is working, but those people are not qualified. Came back to India, started working, increased to 1,200, 1,300. Believe me, today my laboratory is producing 4,000 plants a day, one operator. Where is 200 plants? Where is 4,000? Then the cost comes down, labor cost comes down, chemical cost comes down, power cost comes down. I've been working as a component, correct. Tissue culture plant can be produced effectively at a price of 20 to 30 rupees. It need not be more than that. 20 rupees is a very reasonable good cost for any plant except few. The tree crops takes a little more time, maybe 30 rupees. A date palm needs a little more longer cycle of 3 years production cycle. You need around 35 rupees. But what is missing in the industry was a volume. Banana, when I was producing it, I produced banana. I was the first person to start with technology. At that time, we could produce for 7 rupees, 8 rupees a plant, but the market volume was not sufficient. Today, many laboratories are able to produce plant at a higher price because they are not, the capacity is not fully utilized. Let's say somebody has got 2 million capacity. If they produce 2 million plant, the plant cost is only going to be 10 to 15 rupees. But today, they don't have the season to give the banana. Today, they don't have the sugarcane to give the season. Potatoes are given only certain season. So the capacity of the laboratory is not fully utilized, but the overall, all the expenditure is there. Now, if the volume is going to increase in the country, then it's going to happen. So one is the order has to increase. The breeding cost they're putting into the product, which if India can, government can subsidize that cost. Okay, you have developed a new clone, you take this money for that development cost, but don't charge the clone, maybe it will come down. And similarly, the protocol standardization, every laboratory is doing their own protocol, not freely shared. Somebody is asking the Q&A also, not freely shared, but it's not very complicated, to be very frank. Having worked in 80 different species now, there's not much difference between the two species, but then it is an efficient operation method makes it different. How do you produce at a given cost? How do you produce it? How the consumers are used very well? So as far as plant cost is concerned, I'm sure it's going to go down, like what had happened in the computers, in the cell phone, everywhere is coming down. And also there is a cell phone increasing cost because of the quality. But there are cell phones available at very low cost. But if you look at the agriculture operation, a farmer, your question is, can a farmer affordable? Yes, one banana sucker is 1 rupee. At tissue culture banana is 15 rupees, 15 times higher. But earlier profit was only 35,000 rupees per acre. Today, with all other input put together, he is able to take it to 2 lakh rupees. There are farmers, 3 lakh rupees is there. At least 1 lakh is guaranteed. That 35,000 rupees to jump to 1 lakh minimum, you need to invest another 10,000 rupees more on the right quality planting material. The same plant is going to be available for 5 rupees, 15 rupees. So 15 rupees person will go to BCL, take his meticulously, he will test his virus, you will give the virus-free certified plant. There are people who are able to give it at a low price, but they may not do the certification. For example, I'm in Hosur for the last 30 years. When I went there, I was the first lab to do it. Believe me, today we have 40 labs. One place is like a Tirupur Banyan. All people are there. Now you will get a plant, 3 rupees to 40 rupees, same plant. That's a place. And now, out of all the 40 fellows, only I saw this morning, 7 people are registered with BCL. And when a farmer is buying it, like they go to Hosur, they take the plant. Now, but these people also should come into pictures. Everybody should be doing it. So then the quality is going to be more. Now, when it comes to farmer, when you pay more money, yes, he is being guaranteed. Now, BCL is able to support a system by which they can trace back the plant and find out who has supplied the plant. Now, in the case of banana, it is 1:5. But in the case of bamboo, when you go to the market, 10 rupees a normal cutting plants is sold. And tissue culture plant is only 30 rupees, only 3 times more, not 15 times more. But when you come to the sugar cane, it is 50 paise a plant is available. A tissue culture plant is 8 rupees, which is of course 15 times more. Yeah. But it is a seed material. They take only for seed. And from the seed, they cut it and use it, reuse it. And then the cost is justifiable. Because when the seed goes, you can take 3 generation, 4 generation from the same material, which is virus-free, fungus-free, bacteria-free, and genetic vigor is much more higher than that. But when you go to plant like date palm, yes, somebody also asked for the date palm. The date palm, the volume is not there in the market. People, they're producing it, they're not able to sell a quantity. So naturally, they put all the laboratory costs, the manager costs, the building costs, the air conditioning costs, everything into the plant. And now the volume when it is going, they'll be able to do it. But in the cereal, the volumes are very high, but we cannot do it because at that price, we cannot do that. Sugarcane is a one where I sold for 200 rupees a plant some 15 years back. Today, we're not able to do it. It's minimum 8 rupees a plant, otherwise we cannot sell it. And so farmer are able to justify this. So there is the quality money what is paid to them. One they giving for the quality, and one they're giving for the process. What you said, correct? And that's also increasing the yield relatively. And farmer market needs to be increased. Today, the percentage of farmer who are using tissue culture plant, maybe in banana, it's very high. All plant put together, agriculture put together, it's not even 1%. Not even 1%. Like drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is a technology which is around 40 years old. And even now, we are not crossed 10%.
Yes.
And we are wasting water. And same thing is happening. So we need to have finance, and also farmers needs to understand when banana was sold, there is no market at all. When we are selling banana in 85, 86, 87, it was people never used to buy one or two for the garden. They used to buy at 4 rupees. Today, people are buying it lakhs and millions because they've seen the benefit, they've seen the yield, they tasted the growth. Now that same thing is going to happen. Agriculture is slow, it's going to grow faster, and then the farmers, we cannot change them. You cannot tell them don't go for it. I'll take a small example of a broiler chicken to a chicken. Chicken egg is available for 5 rupees. You can easily hatch it and do that. A broiler chicken original egg, breeder egg, is not available for that price. Because it gives a higher yield, it is higher. So people are taking it. So similarly, tissue culture is going to be a tool shortly for all the farmers and then all the communities.
Great. I think the cost wise you made it, how it can be reduced is the volumes that matters. It's the consumers finally who need to grow. The number of consumers have to grow. And I'm sure it's a matter of time that would happen if we, and people are seeing the difference in the terms of yields and value, even the outcome of quality, what I was talking about. Now, before I come to the final round of questions to three of you, one each, I'm excited and honored. I mean, I'm always honored, but I never read the number of countries or names of the countries who have attended the webinars. But somehow today I'm tempted to read. If you may allow a minute, I would like to read the countries from where the participants have registered. Let me go to the list. Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, Egypt, Ethiopia, United Kingdom, Indonesia, India, of course, Iraq, Kenya, Madagascar, Nigeria, New Zealand, Pakistan, Senegal, Tanzania, United States of America. What else? Zimbabwe. So friends, overwhelmed with now, I think Ray Talks is really truly global. And thanks to my speakers, my leaders who come on this show, because the whole world is looking for Indian agriculture, not only to impart, but to learn a lot from all of us. So thanks my audience, my super leaders, besides the leaders who appear on the show, who make us happen this show week after week. So we look forward to have your continued support. Now, as I said, before I take the questions from the audience, please stay back. You would be allowed to put questions to the speakers after I finish my last round of questions. So the last round of questions to start with Veera Reddy. Veera Reddy, see, we are exporting tissue culture plants to various countries. Now, my question to you is, how does it make sense in terms of business, and how are the other countries benefited? And I can, as I said, the reason I read these countries today, I never read in the past, was that these are all the potential countries for India probably, or many more. So can you take us through how many countries India is exporting tissue culture plants, and what is the potential further?
Yeah. terms of exporting, mainly because of what you know, because we mainly export in the Netherlands and Europe as well as the USA. But why they are depending on India means one is the quantity and quality and cost. For example, banana, we are planting in Malaysia. Their minimum cost is 3 ringgit per plant. That almost comes to 60 rupees. Whereas India, we are selling it at maximum 15 rupees, almost half of on the total of the cost. That is the dependent on the Indian tissue culture plants into their countries. Like tea, we are selling to most of the Australia. Because Australia, the cost of production of banana tea, they are selling $2 Australian. Whereas we are exporting to $1. But also they are making a profit more than 200%. Like that, Europe, most of the foliage plants, almost all the Bangalore-based labs, Pune-based labs, even Oslo-based labs, they'll export mainly foliage plants. The bulk quantity. That's why we are looking at India mainly for the cost as well as the quality and in-time delivery. We are now able to supply any quantity as per the display. When coming to India, sometimes India we cannot sell at a $1 plant, but we can export it. Somewhere I keep in my lab, at least I want to export 30% to keep up my cost of production average. India sometimes my banana cost may be at 20 rupees, but I'm selling at 50. But whereas my tea cost also 20 rupees, but I'm selling at $1. That's why we compensate the cost of production to service the Indian farming community. We are basically Indian agrarian community. We have to support our country. That's why we do mainly fruits and like potato. So potato also we got 92% of the more yield. Now farmer ginger also coming in the field, as well as sweet potato also coming, chocolate also coming up. That's why we Indian labs almost all exported almost all the countries in the world, including Mexico, Russia, even I exported Germany aloe vera because they import the aloe vera because of the from India. Most of the German homeopathic doctors will import the tissue culture plants from India because they want a quality plants. Like that, most of the labs who are in export, like Unito International, that's what of Gromo, most of the Delhi-based airport commercial foliage plants are more. They plant almost 70% foliage and the flower plants. Like forestry plants, only 3-4 types of trees, bamboo we are exporting, then eucalyptus we are exporting, then some mainly Fungamia is now picking up to the Australian market. These are the crops for exporting plants and the value-added crops. But almost all the labs they exported Syngonium, Sphaticillum and all these crops. Export only we are getting the money, it is more and bulk. The domestic market is a season oriented. Banana got some season, fig got some season, dragon fruit some season. We have to work out the season with the market. It's a major.
Okay,
And
great.
the one more export market is pre-planned. Domestic market is not pre-planned. Because the major tissue culture industry.
Okay, thanks, Veera Reddy. Dr. Bharti, let me put a question to you. I know this is a session where we are talking so much tissue culture can do to Indian and global agriculture. It's not just been Indian agriculture now, but global agriculture when we are exporting to so many countries and it's been accepted. But are there any drawbacks or disadvantages of tissue culture? Because I came to know when I was designing this chat with all of you, I kind of people said कि नहीं इसमें कुछ disadvantages भी हैं. There are some drawbacks to use tissue culture. That is the reason I'm not using kind of a thing. So can you, if at all there are any drawbacks you can mention, or if they are not drawbacks, if they are apprehensions, please clear those for these people.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think most of us are talking about increase in yield. It's possible only through the tissue culture because it's able to bring a breed and all that. And it increases turnover, it increases employment, it is able to bring in, higher price produce and all that. But the drawback when it comes, the plants going to be of certain types. The variation is going to get reduced. Today, there are a lot of variabilities there. For example, banana, when I was taking it, there will be 200, 300 varieties of bananas used to be there in the market. Today, it's all come down to G9 or all Cavendish group of banana, and very little of other bananas are there. Red bananas are there, Chakrakeli is there, the Eliki is there, but then their numbers are reduced. If you look at the percentage of other bamboos, they're slowly getting pushed. That means we are likely to be pushed towards like tissue culture is going to dictate what fruit to eat in another 20 years from now. Right now, if you go to the market, 90% is filled with Cavendish banana. And if there is an allergy to, some people got allergy for Cavendish banana. Not everybody, very 1 or 2% people are there. And then they won't be able to eat it. But whereas other bamboos, bananas are there, which are very good. Now, the same thing is going to happen with all the species of plant. We are going to select a narrow genetic base, and with which we are going to focus on to that, which may, number one is the type of food that is we're eating it. Number two, if there is a disease coming tomorrow, it will wipe away the entire thing. That's also one of the drawbacks, because something good, everybody will go like a herd, like a sheep. We all go towards one particular material, which I could see very well as a breeder. I have seen the genetic basis eroded in banana in the farmer's field. Germplasm used to be there earlier, but today it's not there. It's all getting eroded because the person who's putting the regular but normal other bananas, he's not getting enough price, and the market is not there. They're all asking only for that particular variety. So market started dictating, and labs also producing only these type of. So that's one of the problem will be the narrow down in the genetic base. The next is substandard product might come in the market. I told you there are 40 labs are there in Hosur, and people may not know. Farmers, illiterate farmers, can't see even if you tell them there is a label, it's okay, chalega, label is okay. But I want a plant. Today, I don't have money to buy at 15 rupees. I can buy only at 5 rupees a plant. And when we go to the market also, when we choose, we also do the same thing for other products, not tissue culture plants, but other products. When there's a pen, when there's a cell phone, when there's a camera, we all do that. So same thing is also happening with the farmers to some extent, because their pocket is not deep enough to take it. So that's what is happening. This purest material also getting into the market. Substandard is getting into the market slowly. That's also influencing us. So, and tissue culture might dictate that these are the plant to be used. Evolution is directed by tissue culture, at least in the crop in which, not in rice, not in wheat, not in groundnut, but in these crops is going to happen. Now, for example, Veera Reddy is also doing a good work in tea. So he's giving the best tea, no doubt. The best may not be best after 30 years. But today we have a genetic base. I'm also working in the bamboo. I'm calling it Bima bamboo. The Bima bamboo is excellent, 14 tons. No plant can give it. But it may have its own drawback, pitfall, which we'll come to know later, not now. So all that could be a problem if it is coming. Then third one people thinking about is chemical. They say, oh my God, this is chemically grown plant. No. Even organic farming communities also, they take tissue culture plants because virus-free, bacteria-free, fungus-free, and they respond very well to all other culture practices. So that's a myth that it is chemically grown. No, it is grown with the nutrient. There is no chemical of that pesticide residue which is going to be in the plant is not there. So that's not there. So tissue culture for plant can comfortably use. They don't carry any genetic engineered material. They don't carry any chemical forward, and plants are good for the health. Now, no difference between the non-plant to the tissue culture plant.
Awesome. I think thanks for clarifying those details, Dr. Bharti. Now, Dr. Shukla, I come to you, not only next and last question to you, but as to the panelists, and then audience, as I said, once I finish putting question to Dr. Shukla and he answers, then you can raise your hands in the participants thing, and then we will allow each one of you to talk to the panelists based on your question. Dr. Shukla, now I enjoyed thoroughly the entire discussion. Now, you see this industry not from the when I say neither from the promoter's point of view, not from the farmer's point of view, from both the point of view. So if I would like to know from you, okay, how this industry, when I say industry, tissue culture, you feel that can India play a very key role in realizing the potential of this technology, not only for India and globally? I know this question has been answered by most of you, or rather all of you. But in specific terms, so like for example, can we expect a fixed revenue from exports? Can we have a plan? Like now Dr. Bharti mentioned, there's a 40 laboratories in Hosur. Well, whom are they serving? I mean, are they serving only the local farmers, or do they have the potential to grow to an exporter?
Very nice question, very relevant. One thing I want to tell the audience that whenever we want to think about the global market, the quality remains the topmost parameter. Though there is a certain norms in plant quarantine, phytosanitary, and keeping those plant under clean condition as per the given destination. But whenever they approach the facility, always they will prefer to go with the facility which is the highest standard of the producing good plant. Like what I say, India has witnessed good collaborations, good collaboration with the Holland partners. And now there are certain JV, joint venture, those who are producing millions of plant. I can say 40 to 50 millions of plant under the some buyback arrangement. So this is a really truly make in India is happening, where one is providing the source material and you are multiplying under the standard condition and providing the finished product. But again, when it is feasible, when they are going through the certificate, when they are getting some kind of assurance guarantee, because this is kind of premium product where they are not struggling with the 5 rupees or 7 rupees. This is being dealt in dollars. So that time, that virus, that quality all becomes very important. Now, elaborating your question, that answer what I want to tell, whatever achievement we have made, that is just beginning. Because if you see the estimate of the various agency, the requirement is they estimate that quality planting material requirement, not the seed, the quality planting material through vegetative propagation. They say it is 16 trillions of the plantlets is required globally. And just we say that how much we are producing, nothing. So demand will grow enormously. And India, you say, banana itself, you say we're talking about banana because round banana will come because banana has the 70% coverage, though we are doing multiple crop, many crop. And one thing I want to convey, because somebody was writing about the break even, whenever you plan your product or operate your facility, don't rely on the single product. At least there should be minimum 3 products, then only you are going to utilize the facility optimally. Otherwise, what will happen in certain peak period, you will be highly preoccupied. And down season, you have to say your worker, okay, work from home, nothing will work in PDC. You have to come in the laboratory and you need to operate. Then only plant will be produced, not like IT industry. It's a BT industry. So multiple cropping is required. And sometimes you can offer the plant which is very low cost, like sugarcane. Sugarcane, that cuttings are available in 50 paise, 1 rupees, or why it is culture? Somebody will ask. But when it is free from all the viruses and which ensure the good quality, then farmers will come for the TC plant. But again, there is certain technique with the farmer, with the company, that they can combine the micro propagation, what we are talking right now, with the macro propagation. Means you produce TC plant and multiply again in the hardening center and be truthful to your client, customer, that this is my kind of F1 plant, not the direct TC plant, but it is a kind plant produced through tissue culture. It remains tissue culture, but it is again multiplied. In that case, you can reduce the cost. And I got the feedback from even ICR Institute that when this is a TC plant, it has that high tilting is there in sugarcane. But when it is a next generation plant, it has the more economical value in terms of the costing and as well as result. Now, as per the demand, banana, if we count the total banana area as per the National Horticulture Mission data, if we occupy the 1/3 only, then the demand will be at least 900 million plantlets. What we are producing right now, 300 million. So demand will increase with the awareness with the consumer, so that, like Dr. Bharti told, that they are buying with some low standard company in 5 rupees and not going for 10 rupees. But when they will see the yield increasing 15 kg to 40 kg, when it is a 20-25 kg higher than the traditional planting material, and which will give revenue in the lakhs, then they will not mind paying 5 rupees more. So that awareness is still missing among the consumers. That has to be there. Now, one thing I want to tell the audience, because I have gone through the chat box and somebody was saying what are the other crop. India is uniquely positioned to produce the diversified crop variety. I am supplementing this with some data, with some more information. Like if you see the Western India, which is a desert, is like a Middle East. You have the high quality of date palm. And if somebody asked how many companies are doing date palm, I want to tell 5 companies are doing date palm successfully. But they are producing in thousands. But the thousands plants are more than the lakhs of plant of banana, because the cost is 300 rupees approximate in one plant. Is a high value, low volume crop. Again, if you say the northern part of India or northeast part like Sikkim or Uttarakhand, precious orchids variety are there. So it's like a Switzerland, Thailand. You can produce, you can have good quality of planting material as source mother plant. Now companies have started producing apple in Himachal Pradesh, and I keep on visiting those company. Those company come to BCIL. I keep on mentoring them. They don't have tisculture background. They are the first generation entrepreneur doing some other business, some goldsmith, something else, and they are producing millions of plantlets providing to the Kashmir and the Northeast and Uttarakhand. So in like in plain region, you are doing banana, pomegranate. So we have the basket of different components, and we can provide the complete package depending due to conducive climate. Now to conclude, also we have to maintain timeline. To conclude, what I want to say, India has the best conducive environment in terms of the resources, trained manpower, as well as there is support from Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, which provide good subsidy. You are getting financial support. And I am trying to address the one query which talks about the break-even point. If you avail the subsidy with the standard package of practices, because they have some guideline, within 18 months, 18 months, 1.5 year, you need to get DBT recognition. So you'll be entitled to get the subsidy. Then your break-even point will be less. Even in second year, third year, you can get the break-even. Earlier companies, they keep on doing R&D, and R&D. Now this time has gone. And this kind of certification program, so I think we are uniquely positioned to exploit that potential of this technology globally. This is just to conclude what I want to convey. Thank you.
I think that was awesome. How potential it has got both in India and globally. One thing, which at times aches me is that when we say global standards are different than ours. So imagine, if we can match global standards for our own requirement, how things would be wonderful in India. That's something I think not just in agriculture or tissue culture. I'm talking in general about anything. That's where we need to look into. So, doctors, it was awesome talking to you all. There are so many questions in the Q&A and of course chat box also you have seen. But what I would request my participants is whoever is interested to put a question to the panelists, please raise your hand, and I will try and see and random you can put a question to our great panelists. So let me start, Mr. Mahbud Alam. Mr. Alam? Hello. Mr. Alam, you can unmute and speak. Yes. Can you unmute and introduce yourself and put a question? Hello. Looks he's unable to unmute. Okay. Let me go to Anshuman Patnaik. Anshuman, can you unmute and put a question, please? Okay. Yeah, is there. Yes, Mr. Ansuman, you can put a question.
Sometimes they don't get option to unmute themselves. So please.
No, no, I've clicked it, unmute karke. That
Okay,
we have done that, but in spite of that, sometime. Okay, what we'll do by that time?
Yes,
Hello.
come.
Yeah, yes.
Hello, I'm audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
So, where is this dragon fruit tissue culture?
Ansuman, can you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Anshuman Patnaik from Odisha. I'm working in the agriculture department. Some of farmers, they are very much interested for go on this dragon fruit. Where is this dragon fruit tissue culture plantlets are available? And what is the cost of a standard plant tissue culture plant?
Yes, I did a lot of work. Right now, I'm discontinued the dragon fruit. I supplied to US market around 20 years back. And the dragon fruit should be available for a price of 25 to 30 rupees a dragon plant tissue culture plant. But if the varieties are rare, then they'll be charging additionally for the varieties. I know a friend of mine who's growing dragon fruit, more than around 30 varieties of dragon fruits in India. So when they take so much pain to bring the new varieties, they might charge more for it. Otherwise, if it's a common varieties, then they will be charging only 30 rupees a plant.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. What I'll do is, there are a lot of questions in the Q&A box. Let me take some of them by the time other audience want to put. I need to go through the thing. There is a question from K. Ravindra Kumar. He says that in spite of DBT strict rules and regulations in many cases, BRAC, that is bacteria probably, and CMV virus diseases are reporting from farmers. Even plants producing from very big companies, this problem is reporting. So how do we tackle? He said that in spite of getting the plant from the reputed companies, still farmers face this bacteria and virus problems in the plants.
See, bacterial problem, if it is there, that will be eliminated through tissue culture process, if it is not endophyte. But the viral problem, we need to check from where it is coming and how, because there could be fieldborne problem also. Because what companies are providing, if it is tested, it goes free from the laboratory. But when it goes outside in natural condition, if the surrounding is infected, then there could be chance for getting this infection. But if we'll get further detail regarding that batch, supplier, we can investigate and we can learn from the thing.
Okay. Doctor, see this very interesting question here. Incidentally, when I say incidentally, I'm executive director to one of the associations called BioAgri Inputs Producers Association. Okay. And we got extremely good advisors there, a lot of good core committee members and members. We have vice chancellors as our advisors. So one of the things we were talking there, and that question has appeared for tissue culture here too, is that we are speaking about IPM, we speak about BioAgri inputs to be used in agriculture, organic farming, not necessarily organic farming, but good agriculture practices. But they are never encouraged during the courses or part of the academia. So similar question has come here from one of the says, is that, how can we, who is that person? Let me just take it. I'm just trying to retrieve. Dr. Sushmita Shukla has put this question. Kindly share your view on strengthening the industry-academia collaboration in the field of tissue culture. So how do we support, when I say support, strengthen this industry, academia, research, all going together?
Yeah, that is very important. And that is, I'm not saying missing, but we have not utilized this association. I suggest companies should visit good universities where the tissue culture work is going on and the academicians should also visit the commercial facility to bridge that gap. Now, what is happening? Let me give an example. I'll not quote any institute or crop, but I tried to transfer one technology from the reputed institution for the commercial propagation of one species. It was the oil palm. I can reveal the species. They produce 100 plants and claim that all protocol has been standardized. Now I question many things, but they claim that now it is done. Don't worry. We gave it to one company, but when it was replicated, there was a problem in the replication, the translation part. So that has to be seen how, at what scale it has been done. And second thing, the student, sometimes their companies are claiming you're not getting good trained manpower. At the same time, academia saying we are not getting them placed accordingly their need. So that again has to be done with proper linkages, so that it will strengthen the capability to produce good quality planting material, getting good job opportunities, and the transfer of technology from academia to industry. That will happen because we need many more crop, which is being vegetatively propagated, not this banana and a 10 crop what we have discussed today.
Great. Yeah, I'll take one question from Ali Ghosh. Ali Ghosh, can you unmute and put the question? Ali Ghosh, you have raised your hand? Yes. Can you unmute, please, Alik? Okay, I'll go to Mafatlal Khair. Mafatlal Khair. Yeah. Unmute, please.
Yes, sir.
He's done
Yes.
it.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It was wonderful session. I am from GSFC University and working as an assistant professor. And I would like to extend the question of industry academia collaboration. I don't know about is any government agencies or who is working as a mediator for industry academia collaboration. So our university is interested for industry academia collaboration for the same. And my domain is also plant tissue culture, and I have published few papers, around 35 papers in plant tissue culture related areas.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Yeah, very nice.
Sir. And I have published papers in collaboration with scientists from Japan. You might aware about Dr. Jaime Teixeira da Silva, who is orchid specialist in and well-known scientist in world. And I have also worked with Dr. Guo Huama, who is well-known scientist in ornamental plants. I am also working with Jean Cadreso, and but however, I'm just at tender age, just assistant professor. I have started my career over here. I would like to have industrial collaboration with any industry if you would like to collaborate with us.
You can, yeah, I think it's more of information, Dr. Mafatlal. If you can share the details to us, maybe of your details either in this chat box or, write to me. We will surely send this across to the people.
I am sharing my email ID and contact details.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now let me go to Rajkumar Jain. Rajkumar Jain, can you unmute and chat? Yes.
Yes, sir. I am Dr. R.K. Jain from Insecticide India Limited. I am principal scientist here. My question is regarding that some endophytic remains in plant roots or plant other parts. One of the example is Azadirachta indica, that is neem, and a few microorganism remains in the plant roots and produces azadirachtin precursors. Is there any role of plant tissue culture for developing azadirachtin in commercial point of view? We know that India is rich in neem and azadirachtin, but still there is a demand gap for fulfilling this. So tissue culture can play vital role for that? Is there any organization doing that kind of job?
Yeah, probably Dr. Bharti. Yes, Veera Reddy, you want to answer?
On this name, the Krida, the Asian Institute in Hyderabad, they work a lot on collection of the different training clause and develop a protocol. They transfer technology to one SBRD, that's the Arabic Institute of Development. We planted and said them something. They selected one variety which is having 0.91% azotran. They developed the protocol. We also developed the plant and supplied to them. After that, because no industry come forward, we can't give to farmers on these things. So it should be industry-based one. That protocol is there. We can produce to the tissue culture the main plant. Some basic work is done by the Krida.
Sir, proper clear sound is not.
Yeah, we have a little issue with Mr. Veera Reddy's audio, so bear with us for that. Yeah,
Actually, send the mail.
yeah what I'll do, Dr.
One
Saab,
thing I want to supplement,
Yes.
Mr. Raj.
yes,
If
please.
it is a endophyte and if it is growing with the plant and the objective is to produce azadirachtin, then there could be some kind of symbiotic co-culture kind of thing. So it is not the, it will not have any adverse impact on the growth. But what he was asking about the research aspect, so there is work is going on. He can survey literature that polyploidy is giving excellent result in case of neem. And that,
Yeah, sir, I studied the few papers that suggest that the precursors of azadirachtin synthesized in plant parts, and then that microbes converts that the precursors into azadirachtin.
right.
So I think the precursors can be synthesized through plant tissue culture, and the remaining
And
can
also you can try for the cell line rather than if your target is azadirachtin. This is some kind of research aspect. You can
Yes.
explore many things.
Thanks, Dr. Jain. Thank you so much for the question, and thanks, panelists, for answering. Now, friends, I think that brings to an outstanding end of a session, which Dr. Shukla and Bharti actually made me think that looks like one session of this type would not be enough. Looks, we need to have multiple things, because in tissue culture, you have so many large branches. So I'm sure I look forward to your support from all of you, Veera Reddy, Dr. Shukla, and Dr. Bharti. Then we will have maybe, I'll take your guidance and see how we can kind of structure it, maybe with a couple of more Ray talks on this, and get the things moving for the future. My last question, which is my question, Dr. Shukla, probably you from the BCIL, and Dr. Bharti and Veera Reddy from the industry. Startups. Is there a way where startups can look forward to tissue culture as their bread and butter entrepreneurship model? Because I mentor quite a few startups in the country from agri domain, but I didn't see much or any in tissue culture domain. So how do we encourage? Because I don't think it's much of a, because we have stalwarts like you would be ready to mentor them. So is there a way where startups can be entertained to get into tissue culture?
Yeah, it's possible, very much possible. What you need is initial training, initial hand-holding for market, initial designs, and this tissue culture and all that, highly technical oriented, technology oriented. It is not the money oriented. If it's the money oriented, capital oriented, things would have been different. But it's man oriented. So it's all, you need to have a real hand holding from right people who can do that. But right now it is happening individually, independently. I think we would be, since the market was not there all these years, I didn't do it myself. Maybe Shukla is exposed to many people. He can substitute more with that. But since the market is opening up now, we might be looking at for such people, both in India and abroad. They're already tying up with in Philippines, in Malaysia, in Sri Lanka, and similarly in other African countries also we are trying to do this. Kenya, Uganda, people are come already for training and they gone back. Now this is what where you're going to do is we'll help them in putting up the best laboratory, because there are a lot of design factors involved in the laboratory. It's not a simple laboratory. And the efficiency in operations comes from the laboratory, which reduces the cost, number one. Number two, they need to have a mother stock cultures to start the operation. Otherwise, if they start making it, they need to wait for another 6 more months. No entrepreneur can not withstand for more than 1.5 years, 2 years. So that could be possible. And also make a handholding and give some amount of market to them. So develop their market first and make them to put up a lab so that they'll be able to do that. So this is, it's in general, it's taking place slowly. I think another 2-3 years, we're going to see at least 5 different laboratories coming up, different parts of the world.
Awesome. Thanks, Doctor. Now, yes, Doctor, I
want to supplement because it is kind of man-oriented, manpower and a power-oriented activity, power-based electricity, and a lot of investment. First, you explore the market. And a good thing is to start with some kind of polyhouse, greenhouse in association with good company. Develop that company market, expose yourself, then you go for setting up your venture. Because we created some good entrepreneur in the Northeast. And also we keep on mentoring various companies, new startup. So that company, when first time that person came, he has very vague idea. What he told I was grow some tulsi, osimum, this, that, no market area, nothing. So once he is exposed to the market, then he start telling, okay, I'm from Northeast, I'll do strawberry, pineapple, and a bamboo. So this is very important. Have some market idea, then you plan for it. And I don't think many country has this kind of facility to provide some kind of back-end subsidy that is a 50% cost of the total investment. India has this system, and this is a good time to invest and to collaborate with big player and start your own venture. Because this is not like a seed industry where you can produce and you can pack it, you can store it. It is perishable material. So you focus your local market. If you 100, 200 farmers and you can sell 3-4 lakhs of plant, then you can start a small venture and go in a phased manner. Rather than planning for 3 million, 5 million in the beginning, then collapsing it, start a small one and expand it gradually. So that is my message to the startup.
I think that's brilliant. It has come from all of you. Now, sir, thanks for joining this panel and adding so much value on tissue culture to all the audience attendees. And it's just not restricted today's session where people, like you saw, it's almost people, you saw the numbers, awesome. It's gone more than 275 coming, going in between. It's an extremely good attendance that shows the interest in the subject. We will be posting this recording in maybe next couple of days on our YouTube channel. For some of you who couldn't attend or some who want to extend this knowledge to your other interested people, please ask them to visit YouTube/Ray Consulting. Not only this, of course, this will upload in the next couple of days, hopefully, but all our previous Ray talks where the stalwarts have spoken on various subjects. I am trying to cover entire value chain, whether it is digitization, whether it is finance, whether it is agri inputs, startups, and now today tissue culture. So all these subjects are covered. So I request all of you to please visit Ray Consulting, YouTube/Ray Consulting. Please like, forward, and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully we would be doing more and more shows. We also have a Facebook page and LinkedIn page on Ray Consulting. So please like those pages. In case you don't get our messages, emails, or for some reason WhatsApp messages, you can always get the updates on those Facebook and LinkedIn. And I want to share the next 4 weeks. I would, of course, less 10 weeks are blocked, but I would like to share the next 4 weeks. I have panels coming from as Dr. GBK Rao, the chairman of Pragati Resorts. He's going to talk something on very interesting subject. The crops that can be cultivated for immunity and good health living. It's not just about regular agriculture. And then I have with me Vinod Lahoti, chairman of GeoLife. Then I have Rob Humes, MD of Beanstalk, talking to me from Singapore. And then I have Mr. TR Kesavan talking to me, who is the president of TAFE and then president for agriculture for FICCI also. So this is the next 4 weeks. Otherwise, I have extremely good speakers lined up. So I request all the audience not to miss this opportunity to be with these speakers and take something from them. So Dr. Shukla, Dr. Bharti and Veera Reddy, thank you so much, Dr. Shukla. Yes, parting words.
One
Parting
thing I
words.
want to, one thing before closing,
Please.
I am getting a lot of chat box messages from my African friend because we did so many programs for the African countries.
Awesome.
To all African candidates, namaste from my side. They are fond to tell me namaste. And I'm getting lots of chat box messages from my industry friend. They can write me separately. Also, I'm active in various social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. They can join me further. So we'll keep on interacting with them other than this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Bharti, any parting words from you?
Thank you. Thanks a lot for the good opportunity. Look forward to meet you again once more.
Yes.
We'll be right.
Yes. Veera Reddy.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. Bye-bye. Stay safe. And we'll catch up when things become normal in person. Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay safe.